Good morning. We've had a few flocons of neige in Paris, Western Paris. It's only like icing sugar. And like they've cancelled buses and stuff like that. It's Snowmageddon. But it's so interesting because I think we're being a bit Swiss about it. Keith were like, it's only a little bit of snow, but people aren't set up for snow here, are they? When we're in Switzerland, it could literally dump a metre of snow. Buses would still be running, trains would still be running. No days off school for kids, definitely. But no one's got like winter tyres and stuff like that here, have they? So, or in England, so I can see why it causes a few petite problems. Buddy is loving a bit of snow. He loves snow. He's all wrapped up in his fleece. Anyway, I did a live on here. It's pinned on my grid. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. I'll share it at the end of these stories about the 4 things that successful heart-led entrepreneurs all do. But I was thinking, I feel like I missed a really, really important part. So one of the things that I'm always banging on about is you've got to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. And this is something I see a lot, especially with people that are in the birth world, doulas, hypnobirthing teachers, and then like yoga teachers, people that are almost offering services that are sort of centred around support and care, talking a good game, but not walking a good game. The reason this is so important when it comes to being successful, and you define what successful is, but for me, successful is how I feel about my business, how sustainable my business is, like how enjoyable it is, how scalable it is, how much longevity there is in it. And that's why it's important to always consider this piece really, really carefully. Are you embodied in the things that you're talking about? Like, if you were opposite you, would you be able to say these things that someone should be doing and know that you were fulfilling, that you were like coming through for yourself on them? When someone is telling people to do something because it's good for them, and yet they're completely abandoning themselves and not doing any of those things for themselves, people might not know it in like, this is a behind the scenes thing, right? In many ways, because nobody knows what's going on behind the scenes. But I'm telling you now, energetically, in terms of the embodiment, people know. People fucking know. And they might not consciously know why they know, but they can feel it. There's something magnetic about somebody who's standing opposite you saying, these are the things that are going to make a massive difference in your life or your business. And knowing, like, not just on an intellectual level, but like on a deep, like energetic level, that person does those things that they're saying. They absolutely do. So I thought I'd give you an example of a conversation that happened with me and one of my one-to-one clients yesterday evening. She was talking about how she was feeling a level of overwhelm with her to-do list. And that to-do list obviously was a combination of things that she needed to do, like in a business, as in like facing clients, preparing for them, being able to give them the best. And then on the business, so that's like, the background stuff, maybe the marketing, administration and stuff like that. And she was like, I'm not really sure, not where to start, but how to be able to do all of these things. And I'm starting to feel myself getting overwhelmed. And what I talked to her about was, what if it just got to be easy? Like, what if it got to be easy? Because the thing about struggle is it requires someone to actually enter into the struggle. Now, we worked through that together and got to a resolution that felt good for her. But in the spirit of, like, you teach the things you need to learn, like almost immediately that came up for me. and I was able to like walk my own talk, right? So what did that look like? Last night, I was catching up on a bit of admin because a lot of my day had been with my clients in my business. So it was time to just do a little bit of on my business stuff. And I noticed in my new and absolutely fantastic accounting and bookkeeping system, something was awry. I won't bore you with all the details, but it looked for a minute like we'd lost hours and hours and hours of work that Katie, my amazeballs VA, and I had done on this system, on this new system. And I started to feel like a sinking feeling in my stomach. And then that was quickly followed with my brain starting to process what the potential next steps might be to fix this issue. And that was followed by a very physical feeling of overwhelm. So I'm going to just talk you through how I moved through that experience. I started to feel the overwhelm, and I was like, okay, I recognise I'm not feeling safe in this moment. There's a nervous system reaction going on that's telling me shit. Like, you feel unsafe, you feel like overwhelmed basically. So I decided I was going to say it out loud, and I said to Keith, I'm really trying not to be swallowed up by this overwhelm that's creeping in because of this potential problem that's going on with the bookkeeping system that feels like it might end up with us needing to do a lot of additional work to get it back to where we need it to be. And I literally said to him, I'm trying not to allow that to spiral into something where I'm starting to catastrophize and wind myself up. I'm going to try and do what I can to sort of regulate myself in this situation. And so he was like, should we just watch an episode of ER? And I said, actually, no, do you know what I need to do? I think I need to go to bed. I need to set a plan in motion, and then I need to go to bed. Because if I now stay up late distracting myself, then I'm going to wake up in the morning tired, and I'm still going to need to face whatever it is that is going to be, coming out of the back of this potential issue. I was like, I want to go to bed and go to sleep after I've been looking at, away from the screen with a gap between looking at the screen and going to sleep, because I know that's really, really important for good quality sleep and regulation. Your phone's really dysregulating. So I was like, I need a gap. So I'm just going to go do that now. I'm going to go start getting ready for bed and stuff. I sent a quick email to the bookkeeping software help desk about what I'd seen, asking their advice. I could see where this issue had happened, but I wasn't sure how to fix it, or even if we could. And it said it was going to be 2 hours for a reply. So I thought, I'm going to set that in motion now, and then I'm just going to go to bed. Got into bed. I started, every night we go to sleep listening to some Hertz frequency music. So I alternate. I either go, because Keith loves it as well to go to sleep to as well. But depending on what time it is that I go to bed and what intuitively I feel I need, I will either have this guided meditation. If you were in Rich, it's the guided meditation that we do in Rich. So either the guided meditation or this mixture of these two particular frequencies that I really like to go to sleep to. And it goes on for hours, so it's going in subconsciously. It's very regulating, very healing. So that's what I did. Got my frequency on, and I went to sleep. I woke up this morning, didn't look at my phone, because it's really important not to look at your phone first thing in the morning, because that is like you're in such a vulnerable place in terms of like your subconscious and stuff, it's really important for the first thing to be not to look at your phone. It's one thing just checking the time, it's a totally different thing starting to check Instagram, so don't do that. And I got up, I left my phone, I started pottering around, like I was just doing a little bit of laundry folding and stuff, which I find is quite mindful as well. And then I went in the kitchen. I thought, right, I'll get the computer on. Let's see if there's been a response. I woke up just feeling super chill, regulated. I wasn't feeling overwhelmed at the potential of what today would bring in terms of this accounting thing. Opened the laptop, there was a reply from the help desk. It explained what had happened and how to fix it. I went in, I started fixing and doing all the things, and we are now back to where we were, whatever time it was last night when I noticed that there was this problem. And the question that I kept asking myself was the same question that I'd offered to this one-to-one client that was feeling overwhelmed by her to-do list. And it was, how could this be easier? How could this be easier? And then the sort of mantra almost that comes out of the back of that is, what if this was easy? You know, it gets to be this easy. I decide if I'm going to go into the struggle or not. And so I just wanted to give you that. It's such a simple question to ask yourself in times of overwhelm, but it can be just a total game changer. The way that I move through that could have been totally different. I could have gone into overwhelm. I could have gone down various rabbit holes, but I didn't. I surrendered to whatever it was going to be and asked myself, how could this be easier? I accepted that there might need to be some work done to correct it, and maybe it'll be hours, but I needed to just surrender to see where it went. And in the end, there wasn't hours of work. It all went off perfectly. I had a great night's sleep and I woke up feeling good. There was no overwhelm whatsoever, even in the fixing. So try it. My nose is running. When you're feeling overwhelmed and you feel like the to-do list or whatever it might be, and I think that is particularly the case at this time of year for people, just ask yourself this: how could this be easier? How could this be easier? And then just affirm it with, this gets to be easy. It gets to be easy. So that's what I wanted to share today. I'm going to carry on my lovely walk in the snow-kissed forest. And I'll catch you in a bit. Lots of love.